All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Obviously, a tough game yesterday with the Orioles, and it's just one of those games where you just wish we lost 6-1. Because when you lose a game like that, where it's like, man, we should have won the game, and there's so many different things that we could have done differently, it's harder to get over those games. It just is. I guess that's what makes this team so easy to root for over the past couple of years is they seem to bounce back very, very easily. We'll see if they do so tonight as they head to Toronto. Grayson's pitching going against Gossman. Should be a great matchup. But yeah, we got to quickly get over yesterday because yesterday is the type of game that it can spiral if you're not careful. You got to get on a flight, you got to get on the road. Now you're playing Toronto. They're desperate, they can hit. So it's a lot. There's a lot going into tonight's game. I think you'll learn a lot about the Orioles team tonight because we do bounce back really, really well. But yeah, quick, just to spend a minute or two on yesterday, because I think there's something we got to focus on, and it hit me when I was listening to Brian Roberts do the game. Because if you're a former player and you're watching a game, there's so many things. And when I say former player, I'm talking about like the highest levels. So getting Roberts, analysis in the middle of the game is, it's priceless. There, you can't. It's awesome to hear what's going through his mindset, in particular when he was talking about the air that they gave Arias after Mateo got hurt. They had to move Westberg to second. Then Arias comes in there and the ball's smacked at him. Score guy gives him an air, and Roberts is basically like, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want the scorekeeper to be mad at me. But it's clear getting his perspective, somebody that played the game, great, super valuable. And there's tons of examples. It's not just him, it's a lot of guys. Palmer's the best. He does, him and McDonald do most of the game. So it's awesome insight. But what I wanted to talk about, because after the game's over, the focus is, should Tate have been out there uh, for after he gave up two? First of all, should he have been out there to begin with to start the inning? Then he gives up two hits. Then it's like, should we take him out? And instead, they don't, and the guy smashes the ball, and next thing you know, we're losing. And then before the game, it's how come Stowers isn't in the lineup? So I wanted to just offer a quick little perspective on the decision making that goes in to all of these decisions, like every single decision that's being made. And what I think happens to Harbaugh, it happens to Hyde, it happens essentially to every single coach of this generation, is because they have so much information. I mean, more information than we can even possibly digest. Like the amount of information they have on each player, and that goes into every decision that's made. The only thing that I think sometimes happens is not that they're not trying their hardest, not that they're not smart, but that they overthink it. And there's something to be said for just looking at the guy, and getting a feel for something, having a conversation with the guy, going off of momentum instead of just all of the analytics. But I just want to caution. I hate preaching. I hate acting like, when I'm sound condescending, because that's certainly not what I'm trying to do. But I do think for people that get upset or frustrated about some of the decisions, just make sure you don't make the mistake of calling them stupid, or that they're not thinking about it, or that why would they do that. Like whenever I'm watching a game with somebody and they're like, man, I can't believe he did that, why would he do that? It's like, oh, you're one of those people, like you just don't get it. Because if you want to explain Hyde's perspective and then why you disagree with it, then I'm willing to have a conversation, because it doesn't mean he's always right, not at all. But the whole, why is he doing it? I can't believe he's doing this. This makes no sense. That's when you haven't done enough work to figure out their perspective. Now you can end up disagreeing with it, but I think sometimes we get just like, man, why would he do that? As if there's no reason behind it. And in fact, there's so much reasoning behind it that I think the best argument against Hyde's decision making sometimes is you're overthinking those. Like, stop overthinking it. I don't care what happened last week or the overall statistics of these guys. Just, I'm watching and Stowers is hitting the ball really well, just put him in the lineup. Or I'm watching and I don't like the way Tate's pitching right this second, just take him out. So it's frustrating. It certainly is, but I guess I don't go too far on the rant. But this, sometimes when people get mad at the manager or the coach, it reminds me when someone calls a politician stupid over like a big decision. Like, I can't believe we're going to war. I can't believe that they're doing this. That's so dumb. And it's like, is it dumb? Yeah, maybe, but like, have you thought about why they're doing it? Because they're not dumb. They know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. Very rarely at the highest levels of decision making are they surprised by the outcome. So, anyway, that's just my little mini rant today because I thought Hyde, frankly, didn't do a great job yesterday. I would have taken Tate out after the first two guys smacked the ball. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way that sinker looked, and Hollander and Roberts were pointing it out. It just had no break, and it just wasn't there. So I know he wanted to get the double play, but it just I disagree with that decision. But I didn't mind Hayes starting in left field instead of Stowers. It's not like I would have been mad if Stowers was in there, but I thought Hayes had a big hit on Friday night. Um, he wasn't healthy to start the season. Before we just give up on him, let's give him some more starts. Thought he looked good yesterday. So it's just a product at this point of you got too many guys to get into the lineup. So you just have to roll with it at this point and see what happens in the next couple of months. Things will shape out. In the next couple of months, decisions will be made, but there's no point talking about decision making. There's no point, as I've said before, for Elias to make any decisions right now. Things happen. I mean, Matega hits in the head yesterday. That's not expected. Hopefully he's fine, but we can't just make trades to make trades this early in the season because then you're going to have injuries and then you're going to need something else. So at this point, we just keep everybody, keep the depth, see what we got. And as I said yesterday, I've probably said this 3 different times, if the Yankees didn't just win every single game, we wouldn't feel so much pressure right this second. But yeah, it has a feeling of last year where, whether it was Tampa last year and now the Yankees, where it's like, man, yeah, how we're going to catch them, but we will. They'll slow down. It'll happen. So just got to be patient. Got to just stay the course, keep winning series, and it is what it is. That's why I think this game's a big game tonight. You don't want to start this road trip on a loss. Get the feeling from yesterday out of our systems and move forward. But yeah, assuming Mateo's fine, they won't have to make any roster moves. If he's not fine, if they feel like he's got to go on the 10-day IL, there's a litany of moves they can make. None of them will revolve around Jackson Holiday because that's just not going to happen. Because whoever they bring up, they have to be comfortable sending right back down. Because if Mateo's ready, they're going to put him right back in there. He's not going to lose a spot because of it. Arias' spot is becoming less and less secure by the day. But as we've discussed before, and I'm sure if you listen to anybody that knows baseball, he really has a skill set that is very hard to compare to anybody else, right? Being able to come off the bench without complaining, being able to play every single position in the infield. It's hard to just move off of them. So if they do move off of them, it will be around the deadline because Holiday has to come up or Norby has to come up. Something where they feel like Mateo goes more to the utility role again, but they won't bring up Norby or Holiday to play the utility role. So as long as Mateo is smashing the ball around, Holiday might have to wait till September 1st to come up. I mean, that's just the reality of how well Jorge Mateo is playing. So him getting hurt yesterday certainly sucks. We'll see exactly what moves they make. I don't think they'll make any moves at this point because I think he'll just be out for a day or two, similar to what happened to Westberg. And Arias will just get the start, and that'll just be the end of it. So look, I can go in circles here for another 20 minutes, but I feel like the main takeaway with the Orioles is nothing's going to change. Just got to relax, pile up the wins, and see where we're at here in a few weeks. We'll add somebody to the bullpen, as I mentioned yesterday, but I don't think it'll be until the very end of the deadline. And unless I don't know exactly who they're going to move out, so we'll see. We'll see. But all right, I want to get out of here on one final note because I got an email. I'm sure I'll get emails like this nonstop. And I'm sure if you have ever bought picks before, or if you get somehow caught up in the algorithm, you might get these emails. So I'll spend just a few minutes because I don't want to beat a dead horse. And I know I'm going to talk about this all football season. But the email I got yesterday was it $75, $74.99 for the college football, some sports handicapper guy, $74.99 for like the early bird college football season, like the whole season. Great email. I don't want to put it on blast at the moment because I'm not quite ready to call somebody out unless I know for sure that they're running a scam. So this guy in particular, I don't really know him. I've seen his name before, but whatever. He sends the email, sign up now, save 300%, blah, 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 $74.99. So what I wanted to talk about is not why $75 is the worst investment in the world, but, and I mentioned this last week, you don't want to be pot committed. You don't want to be invested in somebody that you know is going to upsell you. So the reason why I'm so happy and confident about my new company is because it's going to be one price for the membership, period. Like you can't buy anything else. There'll be no upsells. So the thing you don't have to worry about when you're subscribed to my company is if they go on a long win streak, or am I going to get a sales pitch? Like at some point, are they going to go on a winning streak and I'm going to get a sales pitch? Or are they going to put certain games like, oh, well, this is the AFC special, whatever the hell I want to call it. You can get this game, but it's going to be $15 separate. Because that's essentially what we did last year with the lock of the week. And I just don't want to do that anymore, because if you buy the lock of the week, you're going to bet the lock of the week. Like, even if we tell you, even if I'm screaming, do your own research, you're going to spend 15, 25 bucks for one game. You're doing that because you want to have the confidence that that guy is going to point you in the right direction. So instead of doing that this year, I feel great about, hey, you're going to pay X amount of dollars per month. And for those of you that are already subscribed, I'm not going to raise the price. It'll just be the $14.99 and just ride it out. Like that's just, you pay the monthly fee and you get access to everything that I'm going to provide with zero upsells. And I say that because that is not the industry of giving out picks. That guy that sent me the email, the 74.99, he can't make money unless he upsells me. So that's like he can't make money. The whole business model is to spend a lot of money on marketing, bring in some front end sales for the 74.99 to hopefully offset some of the overlay costs that the marketing and the advertising. I mean, it's not cheap, and it's becoming more and more expensive because so many people want to get into the handicapping business. So in order to get your Google ads, in order to get the traffic on, the SEO, all that nonsense, it costs a lot of money. So once you spend that money, we'll just make round numbers. Let's just say you're going to spend 20 grand a month to do a marketing campaign for the month of June, right? So that guy, let's say, spends 20 grand and he gets maybe 5 to 10 grand back in front end sales. And that would be a huge win probably. So let's just say that's what happened. So he's down about 10 grand. After I signed up, you signed up, our cousin signed up, we all gave this guy $74.99 and said, hey, this is awesome. We'll get your picks for college football season, assuming that was it, right? And then at some point, probably before the season starts, or certainly shortly after, there will be a variety of packages available. The VIP membership, the High Rollers Club, the exclusive, God knows what kind of names they come up with, the Inner Circle Club, the private investor group. Hell, I used to be in brainstorming sessions trying to come up with names. It's really not my thing, but I could at least, I was like the editor when they would come up with that because I'm the one selling it. Like, how's that sound? I'm like, yeah, it works. Great. It's just, how do you prey, frankly, on people's emotions to get rich? And when you make this exclusive group, it takes you back to middle school and high school where it's like all these cliques and, hey, I want to be invited to this party. I want to be invited to this group. How do I get there? And now it's like, oh, you just have to spend more money. Anybody can be a part of the group. And it's just complete nonsense. So back to the business model, $74.99, get you in the door. And then we're just going to go from there. We might have something, depending on the guy, depending on the company, they might have an exclusive VIP package that is now $1,500, which makes you feel like a good deal. They might say, hey, here's a one game special only. That's $99. Whatever the next special is designed. That's how they make their money. Because now we need to upsell. We need to get you into the web to sell you all kinds of things. One of the most creative things that I've seen and why I don't want people to give that $74.99, because it's not the $75 that's going to kill you. That can't kill you. It's just $75. But what kills you is they're going to go on a winning streak, or they're going to present an opportunity that you feel like, man, it's only another $250. This is like the game of the year, the game of this, whatever. And that's when you get screwed, because let's say you pay $74.99, it's for the whole college football season. Well, the sales pitch is, yeah, you paid, that's what the games that everybody gets. Everybody's betting those games. So the sharps, the experts, they're not on that game. They're on this one other particular game where we can only give it out to so many people. So that's why it costs so much money. And that makes sense when you keep hearing, if you hear that over and over again, and you've already given this company money, you want to believe in them. It sounds, I mean, you make the analogy of almost anything, right? You watch the same guy on the news for 15 years, and well, that's what he thinks about this story. I'm going to roll with it. It's dangerous to get the news from one person, dangerous to get the news from three people. Like, you want to get information from so many different people on the important topics so you don't get roped into always going with one person. That's how we have these followings and people that it's just insane where all of a sudden this guy can do no wrong. You can't criticize him. And it usually is like a politician or some sort of religious leader because you just want to believe so bad that you stop thinking. We're all smart enough that if we just stop for a second and thought, does this make any sense? Like, I know I want to be rich. I know I can't stand my wife and kids. I don't like this house. I want to make more money. But does this make sense? And if you just stop for 1 second with the sports betting stuff, you'll realize that the people that are charging lots of money and claiming that they're winning at a high level, that doesn't make sense for the number one reason. And then I'm going to shut up. The number one reason why that doesn't make sense is because if you're winning at a high level, betting on sports, you have cracked the code in life. You don't have to have a real job. You work for yourself. All you have to do is bet on sports for a living. That would be like the dream scenario. So if you've accomplished that, if you've made it to that point where you win consistently and you don't have to have a real job, why in God's name would you want to sell that advice to random people? Why would you want red flags to go around all the sports books? Like, that's not what you would want to do. You would not spend your time trying to get people to spend minimal money to get in the door and then sell them on the big packages. So the favorite sales pitch for these guys is they use what I just said and they think they're smart enough to kind of reverse it. So what they'll do is say, hey, you bought the $75. That gets you to deal with the Ryans of the world. I got 15 Ryans. I got sales guys all over the place. But me, I'm the big bad number one guy. I only talk to people that bet $10,000 a game. So that's how this rope-a-dope happens. You get in the door, then the boss man calls you, the big guy at the company calls you, and he basically makes you feel like a loser for not betting big money, makes you feel like your life sucks compared to his. And it's just so easy. All you have to do is invest 2,500 bucks, 5,000 bucks. I'll give you my games. Look at my life. And it's back to that MLM bullshit where you watch these infomercials at 3 o'clock in the morning and the pretty guy and the pretty girl at the house. And they're like, if you just sold this product like me, look how great my life is. And it's just complete nonsense. So once I got that email, I'm like, hey, it'll be a good start. I don't want to do this every single day, but when we get closer to football season, I'm going to sound very repetitive because that's the main mission, is to get people away from spending the money on a handicapper and just give 10 bucks, 15 bucks to the local, news organizations that want to charge you for a yearly subscription so you can read the articles. And there's so many in Baltimore. I won't start naming them because I'll forget some of them. But if people are putting their information behind a paywall, that's okay. Like, my stuff's going to be behind a paywall. There's nothing wrong with charging people for information, but with the upsell, that's where in sports betting it just shouldn't be allowed. It's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna make you lose a ton of money because you're gonna start following somebody, and nobody wins at a high enough rate that you can just jump on board. I guess the last comparison is just like roulette. You can't show up to the casino, look at, oh, it's been black the past 12 times, it's due for red. It doesn't, or it's been black the past 12 times, it's going to be black the 13th time. It's the same way, same logic as, well, I'm following Ryan. He went 10-0 the past 3 days. He's on a roll. Whoever he likes tonight, that's who I'm going to bet. It doesn't work like that and never will. So, all right, I think that's going to be end rant. Man, it's a long day today. I got a lot of things that I want to do, get the site ready. So appreciate everybody's patience. I'm trying to get everything done as quickly as I can, but I just also want to make sure that it's done the right way. And yeah, so appreciate everybody being here. Happy I went 2-1 yesterday, but man, it should have been 3-0. Wish the Warriors would have held on. So I'm hitting right about 52.6%. As I said yesterday, eh, it is what it is. I want to get closer to 60 by the time the season's finished. So, all right, looking forward to a good week. Hope everybody has a good day. Again, if you need anything, if you have any questions, all you got to do is email, send me a text. I'll make myself available, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.